big fat box, big box set that's still sealed, makes this a truly limited edition. There's a question that I've been considering a lot recently. What's better to collect? Am I better collecting the limited edition releases of a movie, or is it better just to stick with a standard edition? Well, it kind of depends, really. So let's unpack what we've got and see if we can come up with a reason that I'm swayed towards the limited editions of things every time, unnecessarily sometimes, maybe. My worry at the moment is that I'm swept away with every limited edition announcement. I feel like I have to order said limited edition or I'm going to miss out. I mean, there's plenty of examples of movies that keep getting re-released over and over again, but that fear of missing out on the limited edition is always so strong. Another recent example, I know I've just flashed up Boogie Nights there, but we had the Almost Famous re-release as well, but there's already a standard edition out there, so was there a need for me to pick up a limited edition release? I know it's 4K, but over a standard edition, did I really need to replace that? Well, this one I did because it's one of my favourite movies, so yeah, of course I'm going to upgrade to the limited edition release that also includes the director's cut in 4K. So yeah, I'll allow myself that one. Now, I'm a big movie fan and I love collecting movies, as all of us do. But I also appreciate that I've kind of got carried away with the consistency of the limited edition releases. And it leaves me to question sometimes why I actually feel swayed into buying these limited editions, especially when there's a standard edition that's either released at the same time or it's literally a few weeks down the line. Recent example, I have The Guest, which is the 4K box set from Second Sight. There was a standard edition that was released exactly the same time, and it had the exact same extras. So why did I need the nice big fat box that has the book, the art cards, etc. on there? It does have the CD soundtrack, but who has a CD player now when we're all streaming on Spotify? The extras on the standard edition, which was released at exactly the same time as this big fat box, were exactly the same. So why spend over twice the price to get the limited edition when I could have had the standard edition that would take up less space on my shelf and get exactly the same usage? Because let's face it, I'm not going to look at the art cards again. I doubt I'll be able to get to reading the books. The CD soundtrack isn't going to get listened to, so I've spent over twice the price getting a limited edition when I could have just had the standard edition from the start. I'm an absolute sucker for these big box limited editions, but I really need to stop and consider where I'm putting my money. For every box set limited edition that I receive, I could potentially buy 2 standard editions and get the same level of enjoyment from that standard edition as I do from a big fat expensive box set. Now, when I sit and I actually think about it, the thing that I'm most interested in with these new DVD releases are the film itself, with a nice remaster usually, and also the extras. So the art cards that come with the set, the posters that come with the set, they're nice to look at as you open the boxes, but they're just going to sit in the box on the shelf, and the box is nice to look at, but all it's going to do is sit on my shelf, taking up extra room over the standard editions. I sometimes feel like these limited editions kind of give people bragging rights to say what they've got, and sometimes it's about proving your film connoisseur superiority over the next person just because you have the latest release. Now, the limited editions, it doesn't really show that you're a bigger fan of the movie. It's just a box on the shelf, and it's a box on the shelf for me. I'm not really impressing any of my friends by having these things on my shelf because no one's as interested in my hobby as me. So I need to think about what I want from my collection rather than trying to show off that I have the limited edition of Dawn of the Dead, big box set, that's still sealed. It's a limited edition I felt impulse to buy, and yet it sits on my shelf still sealed because I've just not had time to get to it. And this is the problem with the limited editions. I keep buying titles all over and they sit on my shelf. And subsequently, there's been another edition released, which is under half the price, that could happily sit on my shelf instead of this. So why do I feel the need every time to have the latest limited editions when a standard edition could do the same job for me when I'm only interested in the movie and the extras? What am I trying to prove? Why, as many, do I feel impulsed to buy the limited edition when the standard edition is just as good and offers me as much enjoyment? The books included in these sets are also a really popular edition, but as much as I really like the looks of these books, I very rarely get time to sit and read through them, purely because my focus has shifted to the next limited edition that's going to be released. So by the time I could possibly get to sit and read the book, I'm already focused on the next limited edition that's going to come through the door, so I can open it up, check out the art cards, poster, etc., and put it away on my shelf. So I'm never getting around to using any of the content because my focus is always on what's next, what's the next limited edition. It doesn't stop, so I need to either find time to enjoy the extras that we get inside the package, or just concentrate on getting the standard edition and enjoying the content without that panic of what's next and opening the next parcel that comes through the door. I mean, already we're in October now, so we've had the Arrow sale, so already I'm falling behind with all the parcels that are coming through the door because I'm focused on what's next and what can I get at a slightly reduced price. The sales are just adding to my addiction, really, adding more and more. This was from HMV. I grabbed the Sure Scope Volume 2 limited edition from Arrow. Sure, it was on offer, but I've not even got through Sure Scope Volume 1 yet, so that addiction is real. And I need to keep ordering because I feel like I'm going to miss out. Again, that FOMO comes into play where if I don't get it, I'm going to miss out. Yes, it sits on my shelf doing nothing, so why am I impulsed to keep buying limited editions and keep adding to the collection when I can't keep up on the movies that I already own? Now, of course, there are also exceptions to the limited edition versus standard edition, where the limited edition will offer us more. A lot of the time, they'd incorporate an alternate cut on an extra disc. For example, Warsworld recently included the Ulysses cut, which wasn't available on the standard release. So that and something I do want in the collection because it offers up something extra to the standard edition. But I think this is something that has to be considered when you're purchasing. Does the limited edition truly offer you something exceptional and above the standard edition that makes it a worthwhile purchase? An example of a recent limited edition that a lot of people sort of clamoured for was the Arrow release of the Bruce Lee box set. Now, I'm not the biggest Bruce Lee fan, so I managed to fight the urge to pick this title up. Arrow, just a few weeks later, have now announced that they're going to be releasing the standard edition releases of the Bruce Lee movies, so those that missed out are already able to jump online. Now, this is an example, again, where a couple of the extras are missing from the box set to the standard releases, but if you're a casual fan, there's no point in buying that big, expensive box set, getting stressed about receiving it when there's standard editions down the line that will fill that gap for you if you choose to want them in your collection. I've decided that I think going forwards, I'm going to try and hold back from that knee-jerk reaction of ordering the newest limited edition and try and rein it in to waiting for or ordering the standard releases instead. The way I'm looking at it at the moment is that if I'm going to buy a limited edition, then it's truly got to be something that I love and appreciate, which hopefully will make collecting a little bit cheaper going forward, but it also means that I'm not going to be cluttering my shelves of movies I don't particularly care about as much, purely because I've had that fear of missing out on that limited edition box set. So I can get the standard editions of certain movies and just the limited editions of films that I truly love, but on the whole, it needs to be reined in, and I need to think twice about what I'm ordering and the reasons that I am actually ordering it. The limited editions as well, they take up so much space with their box sets. I mean, you can see my shelves behind me, a lot of space is already gone, they're pretty full, and every new limited edition is just taking more and more space. So the standard editions will hopefully help with the space issue that probably all of us collectors have. Are you guys collectors of limited editions, or do you just get suckered into buying these editions purely because of the hype and the fear of missing out? Or is your collection more curated and considered with what you pick up? Let me know in the comments below. I want to know that I'm not on my own with this issue of collecting. And yeah, until next time. I think we might need to talk about as well the difference between collecting and hoarding, because my collection sometimes it's bordering on hoarder, and there's no need for all of these titles.